Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our MLB pitching preview show that we've been doing with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Right now we're looking at the card for Thursday, June 18th. Joe Duffy, tell us what your website, OffshoreInsiders.com, is all about.
If you want short-term hot, as we follow this report, we're definitely red hot. And if you want long-term winning, well, you're already with Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com. We celebrated my 27th anniversary of my plays being public and winning just a couple weeks ago. That was the 27th anniversary, and we're going to be winning a lot longer at OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right. Congratulations, Joe. 27 years in the business. Man. All right. Justin Verlander, what to think about him, right? He had one start back. Did we learn anything from that start? I'm not exactly sure. Was it awesome? No. Was it terrible? Not at all. He's going to be on the road at Cincinnati for his second start. Did we learn anything from his first start, and what do we expect from him here?
He did throw 87 pitches, which isn't too bad, but remember that Verlander last year, he wasn't pitching up to his capabilities, and when you're talking about a stud pitcher coming off of the DL, remember what I always say, the odds makers don't like uncertainty, and too often the public doesn't like uncertainty, but sharps like to use it against them, and Verlander, because of his name, because of his long-term success that he's had, I still think he's going to be a little bit overvalued with that uncertainty. I think is really for the next couple starts might be a good idea to fade him until we all see what he is about, because again, you know, that magic word of value, I think Verlander is going to be overvalued because his name is Justin Verlander.
Okay, and then Cole should be excellent again, right? Just start in and start out, very reliable, does not always lights out, but rarely gives up more than 2 runs. And on the other side, Samardzija, we know he's been hit recently. His last start was better than his previous starts, but still giving up a bunch of runs every game. How much of a pitching edge does Pittsburgh have here?
I don't know if it's huge because exactly as you said, we know that Samardzija is much better than he's shown this year, and the fact that he's coming off a decent outing, I think from this point on, Samardzija's got to be a lot better than you know he has shown so far. But he is still a power pitcher, and when power pitchers are struggling, you got to worry a little bit. But I still think that maybe Samardzija is a little bit undervalued because he has pitched so poorly, and we know that he is a good pitcher. So a possibility at an under here. But as you said, Garrett Cole, he's been the mark of consistency for sure.
And then Chris Archer, we know how awesome he has been. His last start was a little bit of a coming back down to earth for him, but maybe that was just a little bit of an aberration, and he'll come back here with another 12 or 13 strikeout performance. On the other side, Joe Ross, a youngster, an excellent guy who got a lot of grounders in the minors. That was a promising sign, and his last start was excellent. So maybe there's not a huge pitching matchup here for Tampa Bay at all. Maybe it's a wash. What do you think? Chris Archer versus Joe Ross, Tampa Bay at Washington.
Yeah, and I know that you're a big fan of Chris Archer. We've talked about him quite a few times this year, but the fact that he's off of a less than stellar outing, I don't know if I'm going to would completely jump off of the bandwagon here, but I think this game, at least from a pitching standpoint, has pass written all over it. If I wind up making a play, it's going to be because I find an edge on the offensive side, but I don't really see a big pitching edge that jumps out.
All right, and then to some other interesting pitching matchups. Clay Buchholz against Shelby Miller, Colon against R.A. Dickey, CC Sabathia goes at home against Miami. That's all that I want to make sure we got to. Is there anything else that you think is interesting, that's noteworthy, that you think might point us towards value, betting value on Thursday, June 18th?
Well, you know, as I said, sometimes we record these a day or two in advance. I'm going to take a look at whether Houston is still struggling entering this game, because Colin McHugh, who they sent to the mound, certainly has 6.86 ERA in his past 7 starts. So, you know, I look for McHugh to possibly be a fade, and I still think from this point on, Houston, they're a young, talented team, but I kind of agree with the consensus that maybe early in the year, they were playing well a year earlier than we expected, and I still look for Houston to have some struggles. They're starting to get in some uncharted water where they're one of the better teams in Major League Baseball. So I think that Houston, I have a check mark next to them as a fade. And again, he's still Shelby Miller continues to quietly be over the last from the last half of last year through the first half of this year, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I see no end in sight for that.
Okay, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Thanks for your thoughts, Joe.